Next up, I'd like to introduce David Brandon. David is a developer on the Bitovi React team with a background in Angular, Node, C Sharp, Java, SQL, and DevOps. Oh man, the mythical full stack developer, we found him. He's led or helped lead projects for companies like STR and Experian and puts a heavy emphasis on client satisfaction, code quality, testability, and training. Somehow he has time to do fun stuff on top of that too. He likes to work on electronics projects, does some woodworking, and even dabbles in game development. All right, David, floor is yours. Take it away.
What's up, y'all? Today I'm talking about review buddies. So review buddies, what the heck is this? Basically, it is pair programming, but with a couple additions that make it a little bit more widely applicable than what pair programming typically is, to where more people can potentially take advantage of its benefits. So before diving too deep into it, I did want to give a quick refresher on what exactly is pair programming in case anyone's not familiar with it. The basic concept is two devs work on one task for all your tasks, big and small. This has a number of benefits, a couple of them being that you always have somebody right there to talk through things, bounce ideas off of, and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to post a question in a channel and hope for a reply, however long. You're both right there. You can think through whatever comes up. This also has the benefit of reducing peer review time, PR time. Basically, by the time you get done with the story, it's already been reviewed because you got two people working on it. So lots of times teams that are doing full pair programming won't even bother with the PR. They'll just directly merge into develop, master, main, whatever, provided they've got a robust enough test suite around it. So it has some drawbacks too. One of the biggest being that the whole two devs, one task thing has the appearance of cutting your team's throughput in half, being that it looks like you got 12 guys, only 6 things in progress, so in that case, that can be a non-starter for many stakeholders because all the potential questions and concerns that it can raise up, especially from people outside the team. So it can be a non-starter in many cases. Can also be overkill if you're working through a whole bunch of really, really small stories, two people, it doesn't take 2 people to go change some text or, update a little bit of logic or something like that, So a little bit of overhead in if you're dealing with lots and lots of those kinds of smaller kinds of stories. First, any questions on any of that? Does that sound pretty clear? Cool. I'm going to take that as a no. So let's get into how does review buddies do things differently? What about that makes it different? So the review buddies is a development workflow where 2 devs work as a unit on 2 tasks, each taking the lead on separate tasks and reconvening later to discuss and review their respective tasks. So it's the 2 tasks per pair programming team versus 1 task that mainly differentiates it. So what does that look like? Day-to-day workflow. What's that mean? So let's step through your daily workflow as a review buddy. So you pick a task. Your buddy picks a task. You get together and you talk them over, subtask them out as necessary, and each of your tasks. And whatever. If it's a small enough task and doesn't really need a whole lot of planning, then you both kind of just send it to each other. And if they have any comments or concerns, then they'll raise them, and you just kind of go on. Next, you create a branch for your task, and then immediately create a draft PR back into your target branch, develop or whatever it is. Even before you've made any code changes, you go ahead and make that PR and send it to your buddy, and they'll do the same and send you theirs. And then from there, step 3, you just do your coding like usual, pushing up to your branch. That should automatically update the PR. And then periodically every day or so, I like to do it like 4 p.m. every day. You go in there and look at your buddy's progress, leave any feedback or whatever you need to. and they'll do the same with yours whenever it's convenient for them. If it's something more complicated, you might set up a meeting, do like a Slack huddle or something, get together and talk through it. Or lots of times, if it's just a larger story, then you might just go ahead and set that up and go ahead and talk through it anyway. Let's see what else. Oh, and then once you get done, once you and your buddy agree that it looks good, guess what? You've already got another review, and it's already. If you only need one for merging, then your MR, your PR, is already ready to be merged. So just take the draft off, hit approve, and merge. If you need another one for some reason, then you can go and send it to whoever else needs to review. But yeah, profit. And then every sprint or every week or so, whatever works best for your team, you regenerate randomly regenerate your pairs, like a pair programming team generator or something, and you get a new review buddy. And yeah, so this has a few benefits. Again, having someone to bounce ideas off of on a regular basis. Very similar to pair programming. Of course, they're not right there all the time, but you have a designated person that you can go to first before anybody else, and they have one as well. So yeah, reducing the time for code review, which we talked about that. Spreading application knowledge around the team in a very natural, organic way. Like everybody is seeing everything. At least two pairs of eyeballs on everything at that point. And not just like review, but like in-depth knowledge, like they were part of the development process, so they saw, the reasons behind different decisions and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing is small tasks can be batched together, like rather than two people working on renaming text, you can get together with your buddy and say, I'm going to work on this, this, and this. And then later on that day, you have a few MRs ready to go. And you can talk about them or whatever. So the process kind of gets out of your way. It's not as overhead intensive, I guess. Let's see. Let's go on to the next one. What about the downsides? First thing is it can take some adjustment if you're coming from more typical one dev, one task workflow. It's really easy to forget to do any of it. forget to open your draft MR right away, forget to send it to your buddy, all that kind of stuff. Easy to forget that kind of stuff. One thing that can really help with that is just go ahead and schedule like a 15-minute meeting with your buddy every day. I mean, that almost by itself kind of puts you into a paradigm more like what this is talking about. And I just noticed a question: is it mandatory two tasks are closer aligned toward larger users? No, it's not necessarily necessary that they be aligned. We have been doing that with our team, though, to where multiple people are working on basically the same parts of a larger story. So you might take like an epic and break it up between one or two like review pairs, something like that. So we have been doing that, and that actually does work pretty well. So that's one way to go about it, but it's not strictly required. So, and like most things, it doesn't always fit cleanly into the real world. If you've got somebody out for more than a couple days in a sprint or in a week or something like that, you might have to throw them on a team of 3 instead of 2. So you don't have one person just sitting there without a review buddy, because theirs went on vacation. So a few different things like that. One thing we've been trying out is larger review teams, like 4 and 5 people, and see how that works. We have started noticing some diminishing returns with that. So I recommend 2 to 3 people at most. So yeah. And that's pretty much it. Review Buddies is pair programming for the rest of us. Gets us many of those benefits without some of the downsides. So we've been trying it. We like it. So